Hi guys, today I'm with Niamh, a corporate trainer and executive coach specializing in resilience, stress management, and emotional intelligence programs for individuals and teams. And we are going to be discussing self-confidence. I believe this interview will help people boost their confidence. Hi Niamh, how are you?
Hi, Kevin. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's a pleasure to have you as my guest, and I believe we are going to learn a lot from you.
I
So
think
what
so.
are the factors that affect self-confidence?
I would say that there's so many. It's difficult to pinpoint exactly what the biggest things are, but uh, the things that happen in our early childhood have the greatest impact on us later in life. Because before the age of 7, a child's brain is not developed enough to reject ideas or suggestions from parents or caregivers or teachers, to reject ideas that don't make sense. Later, after when they're 8 and older, they can say, no, that doesn't make sense what that person's saying. But if, for example, they're told you're good for nothing, you're no good, you're useless, you're not good enough, if that's suggested to a child, which it often is, then they really take that to heart, and their brain, it's programmed into their brain. And then I mean, that's the most common belief that the vast majority of the human population suffer from, is I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. But so that's probably the main thing that affects our personality and our confidence. Also, I think if some form of abuse happens, some form of trauma, that's going to have a major impact on our confidence. It can be genetics, it can be just our personality, that some people are more shy than others. There's many factors that can affect our personality.
Wow, that's really powerful. And do you think parental attitude can affect the self-confidence of children, or how does our upbringing affect our self-confidence?
100%. I would say that although it's not solely parents that affect confidence, if a parent is not accepting the child, a child will feel that. If a parent is, believing that, oh, my child needs to be better. If a parent is too invested in that child looking good so that the parent looks good, because very commonly a parent will get their self-esteem through how well their child is achieving, which is a lot of pressure for the child, and they're desperate for their parents' approval. So that's how they will, they learn, if I do this, I get approval from my parents. If I do this, so they're not necessarily living life the way they want to, doing what they want. They're just learning, I get approval and love if I show up in this certain way. So I think as a parent, what's really important is to let our children know that you are enough as you are. Be yourself, and you don't have to be anyone else. Obviously, we want them to do well in school because we worry about them, but as far as possible, to let them be who they are. Let them, if they don't feel the need to, be too sporty, although sport I think is important for our confidence, but if they don't feel that they want to follow music, don't force a child, like really trust the child as far as possible, because then a child learns that confidence, like it's okay to say, I don't like that, I don't want that, to have boundaries, which is a massive part of confidence as well.
Wow. So how can parents help their children gain self-confidence?
By accepting them as they are, by encouraging them to, confidence comes from when we have evidence of achievements, some form of achievements, so encouraging our children to take steps outside their comfort zone and celebrate with them, celebrate their wins, whatever leaps they make. My daughter was nervous to audition for a part in theater, but she did do it and felt great afterwards. So encouraging our children to stretch and to let them know, it's okay to be scared, and yeah, just always celebrating them no matter what, and as I say to my children, I don't care about the grades that you come home with. I care about the effort
Wow.
the effort rather than a piece of paper that, that's not how I value my child. I value my child by how much work they put into things. And I believe that confidence comes from doing hard things. So, not rescuing our children, allowing them to experience, and that's probably was a big learning for me as a parent, not to rescue my children and trust them that they'll be able to figure stuff out themselves. That's how they gain confidence. They're never going to trust themselves to be able to do things, to become independent, if they're being rescued all the time. So I think just allowing them to endure a bit of hardship, that builds confidence too.
Wow, I like that. And is there a link between self-esteem and self-confidence? Or do you think self-esteem can affect self-confidence?
Right. Yeah, that's I think that they're very linked. I'm just trying to reflect on, so your self-esteem, your esteem of yourself, how you value yourself. I think it can vary, depending on the circumstances and situation you're in. But I can't find any difference between the two. Confidence. Okay, you can be shy. For example, I can be shy. People are surprised when I say it, but I can be shy.
Yeah.
I'm usually confident, but there's some situations where I feel shy, but I'm okay with it. I think I've learned to be comfortable in my own skin and to be okay with that. It's how you manage those that uneasiness. But I don't think there's a difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think there is, Kevin?
Oh, no, we are just learning from you. So if you think there isn't, then there isn't, because we all have different opinions. But yeah, so. And how to build self-confidence?
How to build self-confidence. Okay, so there's so many ways that we can build self-confidence, but I would say that I've came up with a list of 12 ways to share with your audience. And it starts with feeling good about yourself, with feeling happy about yourself. So, and about your life. So I think gratitude is massive. If you have a gratitude practice, it's going to build your mood, and that will have an impact on your confidence. So gratitude is huge. Feeling grateful, especially first thing in the morning, if possible. I personally journal every morning and on what I'm grateful for. Also having a future vision that excites you, something to pull you forward, so you feel purposeful and yes, I'm working towards something. So I think that's really important for your confidence, because then as you take steps towards that, any baby steps towards it, it's, remember, the confidence comes from evidence that you're making progress, right? And if you have a future vision and you're working towards it, you're making progress. So that's going to build your confidence. Your mindset, so working on your limiting beliefs, is huge as well. And also this is a good tip. There's something called affirmations. So there's affirmations, which are, writing down, I'm confident, I am loving, I am joyful, I am a good speaker, I am energized, I am vibrant, I am healthy, for example. That's affirmations.
Yeah.
Affirmations are questions. Instead of saying, there's a book on it from somebody called Noah St. John. Affirmations is asking the question, why am I confident? Why am I energized? Why am I vibrant? Because your brain is then going, so she is vibrant. Why is she vibrant, right? You're accepting that you are that already. So it's a really interesting slant on affirmations. So sometimes I suggest to do that as well, and I do that myself. Why am I confident? Then you have to find evidence of why you are. Why am I good at what I do? And you look for the evidence. So affirmations is a good way of building your confidence. Another one is having an alter ego. That's a really great way of stretching yourself. There's a book called The Alter Ego Effect, and it's imagining, how do I want myself to be? What is my ideal self? The best example of this, the best known one, is Beyonc. When she'd go on stage, I can't remember what she would call herself. She had but basically she had an alter ego. It's I forget it, but if you Google Beyonce alter ego, you'll find it. And so she would go on stage as that really confident person. She would pretend literally that she was that person. Adele, the singer as well, she used an alter ego, and it's acting as if you are that person. And it's really fun to play with. You know, it's like, okay, who is a confident person to me? If you think about somebody that you know, and then you're pretending that you are that person, or you make up an alter ego. It's a really powerful way of building your confidence, because the more you practice it, then it becomes less and less weird. At first, it can feel really weird. You know, if you were pretending now to be Larry King, for example,
Yeah.
you know, it might feel really weird. But you know, if that was your alter ego, but with time, then it becomes less weird. So it's a good way of stretching and building your self-confidence. Fitness, I think, is really important, and strength training. I read a quote a few years ago that said, strong body, strong mind. And I thought, yeah, I really want a strong mind, because resilience is so important in life to navigate the challenges. So I started doing push-ups and strength training. I also do yoga. I do yoga every morning. Like, being in our bodies, being grounded is really important for our confidence. If we're in our head all the time, then it's not a place to build confidence. If you're grounded in your body, calm, you know, you're going to feel more confident. And making power moves, making brave moves. So courageous leaps is, and I had a program before called Courageous Leaps for exactly that reason, to stretch yourself. And then you say, wow, I'm so proud of myself. I did XYZ, you know, and then you have evidence of something like, I know somebody who, she jumped out of a plane and she never thought she would. And, you know, it really boosted her confidence, because you feel like a badass. That's an example of how to build your confidence. Self-love, of course, and self-care. You know, a simple thing like hugging yourself at night and saying, I love you, might feel weird at first, but I mean, and looking in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth, for example, and saying, I love you. How can you expect other people to love you if you don't? So that's a really essential part of self-confidence, is self-love and self-care, taking care of yourself. Because if you love yourself, you'll want to take care of yourself. Eat the right foods. Sleep is really important. If you're not sleeping well, then, you know, it's going to really affect your mood and your confidence. The ninth one, by the way, this is actually, I have a 12-month program that I'm launching called Clarity, Courage, and Confidence. And each month is a different theme. So what I'm sharing are all the themes. So the 9th month, September, is how to sell yourself, learning how to sell yourself, sales. And there's books, you know, there's a book that, it's a bit of a cheesy title, How to Win Friends and Influence People, but that's a good book to read for gaining confidence. There's simple tips I can share. One simple tip now is, the favorite word that people love to hear is their name. So if you're in conversation with somebody and you're saying their name a lot, oh, they really like that. And they think, oh, I like this person. This person remembers my name. And so you're going to become more confident in your in selling yourself. And you know, we're all selling ourselves really in our relationships. So tips like that will help you to build your confidence as well, as you notice, oh, my relationships, I'm more confident in those conversations. So there's tweaks that you can make that will build your confidence. Number 10. This is the October part of my program, is be obsessed about your vision. Like, make it your magnificent obsession. That's the importance of a vision. You know, if you have a future vision and it's pulling you forward, you're going to be excited. You know, you'll see other people that might be caught up in fear, very, very justifiable right now with what's going on in the world. But if you're too busy working on a vision that you're obsessed about, that really excites you, you're not going to be paying too much attention, and you definitely won't be watching too much mainstream media, which is just feeding fear, feeding fear. Okay, it's good for us to be informed right now. Obviously, we've got to be informed about what's going on. But, you know, if you're obsessed about your personal vision, it's like, okay, I'm too busy creating my own future to worry about all that stuff, you know, because we have that power and it's our responsibility to live a happy, confident life. And, you know, when we're working towards that and being obsessed about that, then I think it's a well-lived life that we can look back on and say, yeah, you know, I have no regrets. I lived that well. I wasn't caught up in fear. And just, it's like, you know, do you want life to drive you somewhere and you're in the passenger seat, or do you want to be in the driving seat and say, no, this is the kind of life that I want to live, and this is how I want to feel? and knowing that you're worthy of living those things, and it's up to you to get out there and make those things happen, you know, to get help and support. And, you know, there's so much fantastic material on YouTube that helps as well. Two more left. November is having strong boundaries, saying no in November, learning to be able to say no and not people please. We are massive people pleasers. We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of what people will think about us. When we can learn to let go of that and be really, you know, just comfortable in our own skin and not having to please others. You know, there's a book called Not Nice. And that's actually the recommended reading for that month, for that theme. Is, you know, it doesn't mean that you go around being mean to people, but, you know, being nice doesn't really change the world. It doesn't, you know, we're never going to have a huge impact on the world by being nice. You know, we've got to, you know, if we're like forward focused and purposeful and have good boundaries in a loving way, that we're able to communicate that, no, sorry, I'm not available for XYZ because I'm honoring my top priorities. And when we're focused and not pulled in 10 directions, then we're going to be a lot more impactful and effective in our lives. And number 12 is probably the most important one, is meditation and not being attached. When we're attached to, I need that person to like me, or I need their approval, or I need them not to think this about me. When we're attached to those things, you know, that's stress. But when we can learn to let go, there's a very powerful process called the work of Byron Katie, which I certified in actually, and it's questioning all those beliefs. Are you sure you really need those people to like you or to not think badly of you? You know, what would it feel like if you just let go of that and you just learn to be comfortable in your own skin, be your own best friend, meditate, and just take time out for solitude and nature as well. That's really important, I think, as well. When we're grounded and balanced, then we're going to feel confident. I could share lots more tips, but that's probably the main ones that I can think of.
Wow, that's very insightful. I need to write it down. And do you think mantras or positive affirmation can help people build self-confidence?
For sure, yep. I mean, one of my favorite mantras is it's happening for me, not to me. So any challenge that kind of shows up in my life, I don't see it as, oh, poor me, which is, you know, I feel like a weak victim. It's like, it's happening for me. Where's the growth opportunity here? What trait do I have to develop in order to feel okay with whatever situation is showing up? So trusting that it's a friendly universe. That's my favorite mantra personally. But yeah, I think that, you know, our minds can go into, and I wrote a blog yesterday just talking about this devil on our shoulder, you know, that it will, you know, this voice that will try to pull us down. There's a book written on it by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil, and how you outwit the devil, how you outwit that voice, which is always going to be there, you know, that voice of doubt, that voice of I'm not good enough, you know, that lack of confidence. How you outwit it is by reminding yourself, and preferably writing down, you know, I am enough, and, you know, anything I don't know, I'll learn it, and I trust myself, and my future is bright, you know, just reprogramming those neural pathways. Affirmations and mantras are really important, and the affirmations that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Wow, that's right. And what are the benefits of self-confidence?
I think that life's not really worth living if you don't have self-confidence, if you're not building your self-confidence, because, you know, I've been there, Kevin. I should have mentioned that maybe at the start, that, you know, I was somebody who lacked an enormous amount of confidence, and it's something that I've built on over the last 20 years, I would say. But I can remember specifically, I was in university and we had this self-esteem class. I think it was called the self-esteem class, and we didn't even know what it was, but this lady came in, and I remember her saying, okay, I want you to think on the scale of 1 to 10, how confident you feel about yourself. And I put 3 out of 10. And I remember feeling very sad at the time. And it's still, you know, well, that was obviously my path. So I trust it, because it's probably why I went so deeply into personal development, because obviously it would be much higher now. But, you know, it's a dark place to be when you have so little value of yourself. And, you know, it's like, there's no reason why, you know, even if we did something bad or something awful happened, you know, we can overcome it through questioning our beliefs and choosing a different perspective. And life is a much kinder, more connected, more loving place when we have good self-confidence. So really, it should be probably our number one goal in life, I think.
Yeah. Wow. And do you think some of the beliefs people have about themselves can affect their confidence? Beliefs such as maybe I can't make it, I'm not qualified, or things always go wrong for me. Do you think those beliefs can affect, people's confidence?
100%, absolutely. That's the obstacle that stands in the way of us doing things like, the best example is like being an online entrepreneur. It can be daunting. It's like,
Yeah.
people will judge me, I don't do it enough, I don't speak well enough. When we're afraid of what people will say, we're not going to put ourselves out there. And if we have a dream of, like I personally do, of impacting a lot of people, I want to speak on stage. And of course, I have a belief that, my public speaking skills, my presentation skills, they're not good enough. Although I've just joined Toastmasters, so I'm hoping to improve on them. But, all of these beliefs will hold us back from taking the leaps in order to get where we want to go, in order to achieve our vision. But that's the great thing about coaching, because, if like what I do with clients, the first thing is we'll identify a vision and, okay, these are the steps to get there. And then inevitably limiting beliefs will come up, like, oh yeah, but who am I to, I don't have what it takes. Basically, that's a very common belief. I don't have what it takes. And then to question that and think, well, why not me? Why wouldn't I have what it takes if other people do? Then, and to push through all that resistance, a lot of fear comes up. And I don't know if that ever goes away completely, but we learn to manage it and recognize it, and not let it hold us back.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think the media influences people's beliefs about themselves or their confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. Mainstream media feeds fear. It's that's how it sells. It's all that, those clickbait headings, they're catastrophizing, dramatizing, but that's what sells, those headlines. And they're in the business of selling advertisements, of selling newspapers, etc. So and fear sells. So when you're consuming a lot of that media, then it's going to affect your mood, it's going to affect your fear. And that's one piece of advice I give is, really try and stay away. I don't watch the news. I keep myself informed, but I haven't watched the news in years and years. And I don't feel. I'm really glad that I don't watch the news. There's a great prayer called God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's important, the wisdom to know the difference. There's a lot of stuff we're being fed that we absolutely, if there's some shooting in Philadelphia, there's nothing that I can do. I'm not going to take a flight to Philadelphia, and if there was like 10 people killed, it's very, very sad, but there's nothing I can do. And that's going to bring my mood down. Whereas if I play a YouTube of Brendan Burchard or somebody that really inspires me and reminds me of, that I can do it, I can achieve my vision, I'm going to, feel, yes, in a good mood, instead of like, oh, that shooting in Philadelphia that has nothing to do with me, that, so it definitely influences us. My advice is, yeah, just keep informed, but only the bare minimum informed, and focus on the positive.
Yeah. I believe in the power of association. There's a proverb that says, walk with the wise and you shall be wise, a Bible proverb. Do you believe people can become more confident by surrounding themselves with other confident people?
Definitely, yes. There's another saying, you are the sum total of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Jim Rohn said it. I'm not quoting it exactly, but absolutely, it's, they say, look around the 5 people that you're closest to, and you're going to be, because they absolutely influence us. So if you're surrounded by, I think this is a very good measurement. If you're with somebody and you notice afterwards that you feel drained or feel because they've been moaning or whining or talking about the news, you know, that's going to negatively affect your mood. But if you're hanging out with people who are forward focused, who have something that they're excited about, and they're not moaning and complaining, but they're filled with gratitude. Yeah, I have one particular friend, when I walk with her, I always feel upbeat afterwards, and for sure, that's, you know, surround yourself with positive people, and that will help you. And even, you know, people who are ahead of you, that's a blessing. Yeah.
Wow, I completely agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
And what advice do you have for people who are shy?
I think, honestly, embrace it. That, you know, what is shyness? It's well, if there's a belief they're better than me, then seriously question that belief, because we're all the same. But you know, if we believe, oh, they have a PhD and I've only a master's, for example, so they're better, you know, so you feel shy that, oh, you know, they know more than me. You know, question that belief, because we're all equal. But you know, if you have an uneasiness, honestly, it's, you know, it's like, that's okay. Like, just, I have a different relationship with that than I used to. It's okay to feel a bit uncomfortable, and, you know, it's okay to not know what to say. And, you know, I think, don't take ourselves too seriously. That really helps. Don't take yourself too seriously. You know, don't overthink, oh, if I say this, they'll think that, you know, just, you know, just be free. And if there's shyness there, that's okay. You know, there's some incredible people out there who are shy. Embrace your shyness. What it can be also is just that you enjoy, that you're introvert possibly, and that you enjoy your own company, and, you know, you don't like to be in big crowds. Honor that, is what I say, because if you're somebody, and I notice it for myself, I need, you know, I can be extrovert, but I need that downtime. I need that solitude. I need time, you know, after a big event, I'll need that time alone. Honor that, because I didn't realize that before, and I used to get really tired and didn't know why. So the more tuned in you are to yourself and notice, you know, okay, do I feel upbeat after that and energized, or do I feel drained? And yeah, you know, you want to just follow your gut.
Wow. Well, thank you, Niamh, for empowering us with your knowledge and giving us some tips to boost self-confidence. I
You're welcome,
believe
Kevin.
our viewers have learned more about self-confidence through you. And guys, you can follow Niamh on LinkedIn or Facebook. I will leave the links to her social media platforms right below the video.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And thanks to everybody who tuned in. And if anybody has any questions about anything I shared, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be happy to chat.
Oh, thank you so much, Niamh.
Thanks, Kevin.